Imagine a time when marriage was not just a romantic adventure, but a powerful bridge between families, a communal bond rooted in tradition. In ancient Igbo society, choosing a life partner was never just about two people. It was a careful, orchestrated dance of family, community, and respect. From yam festivals to secretive family inquiries, every step was a testament to character, reputation, and enduring kinship. Let's explore how the intricate dance of love and legacy shaped the foundations of traditional Igbo marriage. Welcome to Igbo, our heritage. Today, we dive into the true meaning of marriage, what it represents, and how it was understood in ancient Igbo society. Marriage, in its simplest definition, is the union of two individuals who come together to build a life often rooted in love, companionship, and shared responsibility. In many modern societies, this definition centers largely on personal choice, emotional connection, and individual fulfillment. But in ancient Igbo culture, marriage went far beyond this narrow view. It was not just a union of a man and a woman. It was a union of families, kindreds, and even entire communities. It was a social institution designed to preserve lineage, strengthen alliances, uphold moral values, and ensure continuity across generations. Love was not absent, but it was guided, refined, and protected by the wisdom of the family and the structure of tradition. In this system, marriage was not rushed. It was investigated, observed, discussed, and approved. Every step from the first quiet inquiry to the final celebration was intentional, ensuring that the union would stand the test of time. So, how did this process truly begin? How did families move from mere interest to lifelong union? And what role did the community play in shaping these marriages? Let's step into the world of ancient Igbo tradition and uncover the journey from first interest to final union. In Igbo society, marriage wasn't just a personal union between two individuals. It was family affair, deeply embedded in communal and kinship networks. Men often didn't simply choose a wife based on romantic feelings alone. Instead, they relied heavily on structured social interactions and family involvement. These potential connections often began at community events, such as the annual Yam Festival, that is, the Iriji or Iwaji as some would call it. Marriageable age milestones or other social gatherings like communal dances, wrestling competitions, or even market days. These settings give men the opportunity to observe young women's character, grace, and social behavior in a natural environment, as they saw them interacting with their peers and elders. In addition, family networks played a huge role. Parents, uncles, and family elders would often scout for suitable matches, observing young women in their villages or during inter-village events. Once a family identified a girl they felt was fitting, based on moral character, family reputation, and compatibility. They will subtly suggest the match to their son. Sometimes, a man might have had no direct interactions with the girl at first, but the family's recommendation will pave the way for reintroductions. Thus, the process balanced personal choice with the wisdom and guidance of the family, ensuring that marriage was not only a romantic bond but a socially sanctioned, well integrated partnership. In traditional Igbo culture, the quest for a wife was a communal affair. And while the man's family often led the process, women were never passive bystanders. Instead, the initiative was a dynamic interplay of family observance, personal inclination, and community reputation. For instance, the man's family often took the lead because marriage was seen as a strategic alliance between two families. Elders, uncles, or fathers would observe suitable women in their social circle. At church, market days, during traditional festivals, and in their own community gatherings. If they spotted a young woman with good moral character, diligence, and family known for integrity, they would discuss her potential quietly. At the same time, the young man's personal interest was crucial. Even if his family suggested the woman, he still needed to express his own consent. During festivals or community dances, a man might discreetly observe a woman's personality or how she interacts. If he were interested, he might mention her to his mother or his aunt, who would then discreetly gather more information. In ancient Igbo culture, once a young man showed interest in a woman, or his family identified her as a potential match, the family took on a pivotal role in the process. Others, most often their father, elder brother, or a respected uncle, became the primary evaluators of the young woman's suitability. This wasn't just a cursory assessment, it was a comprehensive inquiry aimed at ensuring long term harmony and social stability. The process began with the father or elder brother initiating conversations with trusted peers in the community. They would ask about the girl's family history, where she came from, what her parents' reputation were, and what kind of upbringing she had. They looked for a family known for honesty, hard work, and moral integrity, because in Igbo tradition, a marriage was seen as a union of two families, not just two individuals. The elders also observed the girl's personal behavior. Was she respectful to elders? Was she hardworking? Did she carry herself with dignity and humility? The family also looked at the social standing of her people. Were they respected within their own kindred? All these factors contributed to the elders' final judgment. After gathering this information, the man's family would convene, often with the elders, to collectively decide if this was a union worth pursuing. If they were satisfied, they proceeded to the next step, formal inquiries, which involved reaching out to the girl's family and beginning the aftermath. Thus, the man's family ensured the marriage was rooted in mutual respect, integrity, and long-term stability. In traditional Igbo society, the family was seen as the primary custodian of social protocol. Elders, parents, and uncles were the gatekeepers of tradition. After After the young man developed an interest in a woman, he typically approached his family first, seeking their guidance. This was done out of respect for cultural norms. The family had a wealth of experience in navigating relationships and ensuring that a marriage was beneficial for both families and the wider community. The elders would advise on next steps, ensure that proper etiquette was followed, and confirm that the union aligned with family values, even if the young man and woman crossed paths first, say at a cultural festival or through a modern day social event. Any personal exchange or romantic spark still required family involvement afterwards. After any direct conversation between the man and woman, the man would return to his family, share his feelings, and seek their approval. Once his family gave the green light, they would initiate formal inquiries, reaching out to the girl's family, expressing their son's intentions, and ensuring that all steps were aligned with tradition. While modern day couples may sometimes initiate conversation themselves, the families still ultimately provide the essential guidance, wisdom, and blessing, ensuring that the union is secure, respectful, and anchored in tradition. In traditional Igbo culture, if a man takes the step of speaking directly to the girl, the situation must be handled with great care and respect. This is a very sensitive moment because even though it is a personal conversation, the girl is still deeply anchored in her family and community. If the man expresses interest directly, the girl must respond thoughtfully. Respect for tradition requires that she doesn't give a hasty answer. No, she doesn't give a hasty answer. She must take time to reflect. If she is interested, she should let him know that she values his interest. But she must also say that she needs to inform her family because decisions of marriage are collective. She must return to her parents and trusted aunt or a senior family member to discuss the matter. On the other hand, if she feels any doubt, perhaps she's unsure about her feelings or she doesn't think the match is right, she must also be honest. She should kindly express that she appreciates his interest, but she needs to follow her own heart and ensure her family is consulted. In either case, she must be clear but respectful. After this initial personal conversation, both the man and the woman would then bring their families into the fold. The girl's family would expect a formal discussion, as marriage was never just a matter of individual choice. It was a collective decision, and the families had to give their blessing. In this way, the woman maintained her dignity, the man's intentions were clarified, and both sides could proceed with mutual respect and awareness. When the man first speaks to his family, this marks a foundational step in the traditional process. Rather than rushing into direct action, the family takes time to deliberate, ensuring they uphold proper protocol and show respect to both sides. The father or an elder, often a senior uncle or a trusted male relative, will gather with the other elders discussing the suitability of the match. If they consider the girl's family background, her character, the reputation of her people, and how well the union aligns with their own family's values, When the man first speaks to his family, this marks a foundational step into the traditional process. Rather than rushing into direct action, the family takes time to deliberate, ensuring they uphold protocol and show respect to both sides. The father or an elder, often a senior uncle of the trusted male relatives, we gather with the other elders, discussing the suitability of the match. They consider the girl's family background, her character, the reputation of her people, and how well the union aligns with their own family's values. Once the family reaches a consensus, they select trusted elders or messengers, often men with a respected place in the community, known for their integrity, to approach the girl's family. These intermediaries act as emissaries. They are polite, formal, and discreet. They don't just show up. They announce their visit through a formal introduction, explaining who they represent and the purpose of their visit. They bring gifts as a sign of goodwill, usually wine, colonels, and other traditional items to express respect and humility. This step is crucial because it preserves the dignity of both families. The girl's family, on receiving the emissaries, will listen with respect, ask questions, and deliberate themselves. After this respectful exchange, if both families agree, the next steps, such as the formal proposal and bride price negotiation, can proceed. This method ensured that marriage was never rushed. It was a slow, deliberate act of mutual respect, where both families had a voice and all aspects of character, lineage, and compatibility were considered. Before the man's family officially made their intention known to the girl's family, there is such a step called Igbo, which means asking of questions or an investigative step. The Igbo process was a cornerstone of traditional Igbo marriage, embodying a structured and discreet approach to assessing compatibility and ensuring family honor. Instead of making a direct and potentially abrupt approach to the girl's family, the man's family acted with patience and wisdom. Rather than the man or his family approaching the girl's household themselves, the selected trusted intermediaries. These individuals were not chosen at random. They were respected elders and family friends, or prominent figures in the community, people whose integrity was beyond question. Sometimes these intermediaries were elders from the man's own village, familiar with both families, or in some cases, they came from the girl's village, allowing a neutral perspective rooted in familiarity. Their role was delicate. They did not declare the man's intention outright, but rather asked probing questions about the girl's upbringing, her family values, and her moral standing. They observed and listened, ensuring that no rush decisions were made. This inquiry was discreet, often taking place over several visits or meetings, without the girl or her family feeling pressured. The intermediaries would return to the man's family reporting their findings. If all was well, the family would feel confident in moving forward. If there were concerns, they would quietly step back, ensuring no public embarrassment and allowing time for reflection. Igbo was a bridge between informal attraction and formal courtship. ensuring that the union was rooted in trust, integrity, and community's blessing. The choice of intermediaries in Ijuese process was a deliberate act of balance and trust. They were not random messengers, rather, they were chosen for their impeccable character and standing within the community. In many instances, these trusted individuals came from the man's village. They were elders, family patriarchs, or long-standing family friends with no personal bias, people who were respected by both families and known for their ability to remain neutral. Their familiarity with both sides helped build a sense of fairness. They didn't come with hidden agendas, but with the sole aim of ensuring the best possible match. At other times, the intermediaries came from the girl's village. This was an equally strategic decision. When the intermediaries held from the girl's side, it ensured that the process wasn't one-sided. These were often respected members of the girl's kindred, uncles, elders, or family advisors, who knew her personality, her strength, and her household dynamics. By having someone from her own village involved, it created a balanced exchange. No one could accuse either side of bias or dominance. These intermediaries, no matter their origin, were expected to be discreet, wise, and impartial. Their reputation was on the line. As they made inquiries, they collected a rich picture of the girl's family, her upbringing, values, and how well the two families could harmonize. This dual source approach ensured that the inquiry was not a rushed process, but a wise one, rooted in fairness, trust, and deep understanding of both families' histories. Once the Ijuese process is completed and both families are satisfied with the findings, the next pivotal step is the Ikwaka. This is a highly symbolic and structured visit by the man's family to the girl's family home. It is not a casual visit. It is laden with respect, symbolism, and traditional protocol. The man's family arrives together, often with the senior male members, father, uncles, and other elders, bearing carefully chosen gifts. These gifts are not just symbolic, they are offerings that represent goodwill, honor, and intention to bind both families in a harmonious union. Traditionally, wine, often the palm wine, kola nuts, and other items such as salt, livestock, or clothes are brought. These gifts symbolize peace, goodwill, and the readiness of the man's family to take this relationship seriously. When they arrive, formal introductions happen. Names, lineages, and family histories are exchanged. The senior man or elder from the man's side formally announces their purpose. They declare their son's intention to marry from this family. It is a request for acceptance, asking the girl's family if they have no objections and if they are willing to proceed. The girl's family in turn respond by asking questions, discussing the match, and gauging whether their daughter will be well cared for. This is a time for open dialogue. If both sides agree, after a series of respectful exchanges, they set a date for the traditional marriage rites. These rites, known as Ibanku or traditional wedding, are usually a public celebration of the union. The entire community often participates with dancing, traditional songs, and rituals, It is a rich display of Igbo culture where the bride is officially presented, the bride price is settled, and the families exchange vows of mutual care and unity. In this way, the Ikwaka formalizes the intention, while the subsequent marriage rites publicly seal the bond, ensuring that the couple and their families are fully committed to a lifelong partnership. The traditional marriage ceremony known as Ibanku is one of the most significant milestones in Igbo culture. It is a public, joyful celebration that marks not just the joining of two individuals, but the merging of their families, lineages, and community ties. After the formal proposal, that is the Ikwaka, the actual wedding day is vibrant ritual filled with meaning and symbolism. The ceremony usually begins with the bride price. This is one of the most respected steps. The man's family, led by the elders, present a symbolic amount to the girl's family, sometimes in cash, but often in items like nuts, wine, and other traditional gifts as requested by the girl's family. This is not just a financial transaction, it is a token of appreciation for raising the bride and a sign of the groom's family's readiness and commitment. The bride price negotiation itself is a respectful dance. No one rushes, and the family carefully considers what is being offered. Once the bride price is accepted, it is seen as a formal acknowledgement that the man and his family are now part of the girl's family. After the bride price, the ceremonial presentation begins. The bride, dressed in traditional attire, throughout the event, it is a community affair. Guests from both families, friends, and neighbors come together, offering songs, dances, and prayers. The bride is formally recognized as a wife, and her transition from being a daughter to a wife is celebrated. The entire event is powerful affirmation of continuity, respect, and social bonding, making it clear that this marriage is not just between two individuals, but a bridge between two families, ensuring mutual care, support, and a shared legacy for generations to come. As we uncover these ancient Igbo marriage traditions, what do you think? Could these deep-rooted steps of family involvement and community support offer lessons for modern relationships? Do you think the emphasis on careful inquiry could help build stronger, lasting union today? Could reviving these values reduce divorce? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's deliberate.